Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of AETHER, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called From a Fking Boat, written by JohnFalkirk. Audio recording of Dr. Professor Kakalokaniki V's Prath Saltakira Institute, Mechana Organics. Those new humans. How? How did they do? I can't. What even? Let me start from the beginning. We were all familiar with the primary problem of mechano-organics. We can build a synthetic replacement for every organ in the body, one that'll last longer and function better than the original piece of obsolete wetware it replaced, even the brain. But what we had never been able to do, the crown jewel of our discipline, the holy grail too, to use the human expression, and I feel that we will soon be doing that a lot more, is to transfer the consciousness into the new brain in such a way that the same person, and not merely a copy of them, exists, to preserve the original consciousness and not a mere copy, that we have never been able to do. Every advancement, every new plan, for 1,000 years had been a dead end. Immortality has been denied us. One stumbling block from achieving it, a single issue. Everything else was fixed. All other organs could be replaced at need. Any body part you care to name replaced as needed, but not the brain. 5 years ago, their unit of time, the humans were introduced to the galactic stage. They were introduced to the final problem of mechano-organics, their own version of the field having been advanced by leaps and bounds in those 5 years as we shared our tech with them. 1 year ago, I got my first human intern, Dave Thomas. Dave was a bit hard to get used to in his first cycle at the university, slightly too tall for my office store. One fewer digit on each manipulatory appendage than is advisable for our keyboards. The usual human-related problems. But he was a hard worker, if a bit unserious at times. That human concept of a pun caused endless productivity loss in a week after he introduced it. Seriously, what kind of joke gets better as it gets worse? No sensible species has humor like that. As he was catching up in the lab notes about a month into his internship, I explained to him the problem. And he thought for a second. "I'll be right back," he shouted suddenly, jumping up and sprinting out from the laboratory. He returned a few time slots later with a textbook from a human philosophy course of all things. He excitedly showed me a page. It was a picture of this boat, an ancient boat, not even one with engines, one powered by oars and a sail, not even a proper tiller, for crying out loud. And he says to me, "I have the solution." You see, apparently in human mythology, there was apparently this warrior named Theseus, stupid name by the way, who sailed from place to place on a ship slaying monsters that mostly seemed to be earth animal heads on oversized human bodies. During his travel, this idiot managed to break every individual part of his ship one at a time, each having to have been replaced, one at a time. The ship never ceased being a ship. At no point did the ship become not a ship, and no meaningful distinguishment could be made at any point to claim that it started being a new ship, even though it was made completely different parts by the end of the journey. I opened my mandibles to explain to Dave why that was an interesting story, but unhelpful, when I realized that I couldn't. There was no reason it couldn't work. Programming a small swarm of nanites to replace individual cells identical as child's play. Installing a single cell in a replacement of another, again simple, and fast with modern nanites. There is nothing to stop this from happening contiguously, save the need for raw materials. Nanites can be programmed to fetch them from the digestive tract with ease, and convincing a person to increase their food consumption is easier. Difficult to not do, in fact. With pre-Dave technology, we could give 1,000 years to any being without difficulty before running hard and fast into the problem. At a rate of about 250,000 cells per human day, in that time, the brain can become completely synthetic. Now of infinite durability, and consciousness is contiguous throughout. He solved immortality with a ghost story and a fucking human boat. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Caspar Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon WRE, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.